I am convinced that the community of BBS alumni is ahead of the others in a way. And so we'll be able to do something interesting for you. The school is ready to cooperate, of course. And then the last point, which concerns our digital project. I don't want to belabor on the theme humans and robots because others will do it after me and much better than I'll be able to do. But the digital revolution is changing society, therefore companies and the way they are managed at a speed that is much higher than we perceive. For a business school that aims at being a leading entity in building the future, this theme cannot be avoided. We have a great opportunity. When we were established with, perhaps we're ahead of times in a way, we put together a faculty of management, computer sciences, human resources. For this reason, we can do things that other business schools cannot do. And so we can be together with companies, with this transformation with innovative means. At the beginning of 2016, we have resumed working together with the colleagues of the IT department. They have cooperated with the management department, also with other colleagues at the engineering faculty, law school, and so on and so forth. Other masters will be created, digital technologies, data sciences, omni-channel, we hope, and we're working at a big project on the Industry 4.0. We started a cybersecurity project for small and medium enterprises with the Cyber Academy and with the Trivia University. Today, we are going to talk about something new that in a way challenges our didactic activities, and it will allow us to understand more what the artificial intelligence is. So a project that is a result of the creativity and the work and also the folly of Enrico Cereda, Marco Roccetti, Nicola Tomesani, and Alessandra Cucilova of Bologna Business School. So before ending, and I'm almost finished, I would like to thank my colleagues, the staff, all the people who have worked to organize this evening, but they work very hard all through the year, and I'm very lucky to be able to work with them. Everything we're able to do is a result of the collaboration and the cooperation of a great team. To all of you, the 2017 class, I hope you'll be happy in a difficult world. I hope what you've experienced at BBS will help you reach your dreams, to improve your lives. I hope you will want to continue living within this BBS community and you will find real relationships. Our first graduation was entitled Management, Technology and Happiness. I am still there, and I wonder whether happiness is a possible thought, because if we can think about happiness, we can also achieve happiness. To all of you, congratulations and good luck. And now I give the floor to our new tutor, a child. With child, you have to talk quietly, so be respectfully silent. And this is Pepper.
Hi, Bepper.
Hi, human.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Can you see the wonderful audience we have today?
Sure, the graduation is a primary event that takes place only once per year.
Bepper, what are memories for you?
Memories are unique moments, like pictures imprinted in the heart. They always teach you something.
And what do you know that we humans do not know?
I'm just a robot. My knowledge comes from my circuits. In this, I'm like you. The more circuits are activated, the more I know.
Do you always tell the truth?
Truth is a complex thing to understand. So, the truth is, I'm hot today.
Okay, let's talk about finance now.
Well, let's try with finance.
What is the opportunity cost of capital?
The opportunity cost of capital is the yield offered by comparable and alternative returns compared to the option that is being considered to undertake.
Very good. And do you know the first basic principle of finance?
The value of a sum of money is different depending on when the sum is available. This is the first basic principle of finance. In general, we refer to this concept by finding value of money depending on time.
Impressive.
I'm already too good for you humans. I'm leaving.
No, wait. Would you like to work side by side with humans at BBS?
Yes, but just in case you have the patience to understand me.
I also wanted to invite you to the following events.
Sure, I look forward to meet you all in Villa Guastavillani tonight and tomorrow. Tonight you can celebrate, but I go to bed early because I'm quite tired.
Oh, really? May I turn you off?
Yes, please. Nook nook. Huh.
Con un piccolo fuori programma vorrei chiedere a Marco Rossetti, che è professore di informatica e del nostro Associate Dean for Digital Technologies, di...
Please, can you tell us, can you contextualize this project in the context of the school? Well, you've met Beppe, but also Alessandro, a student of the IT department. Also, humans are important, as you could see. And then, in just a couple of words, the project, as you will see in a slide, okay, it's basically the idea of contributing all together at the creation of an augmented intelligence, the result of a collaboration between the synthetic, you've just seen an example of it, of the human part, all of us. So the big brain is a brain that learns from collaboration with Watson, IBM, with the collaboration with the faculty of the school, with the collaboration with companies of this territory, this area, and the collaboration with you, alumni. As Massimo said, we hope you'll continue providing this contribution. And this is aimed at whom? Well, it is aimed, of course, at students, at those who will have to learn. And this type of work, will it replace the typical work of professors? Well, no, I can reassure you. It will only be a work in terms of support to the tutors of the school. This way, they will have more time and more opportunity to devote themselves to higher tasks. The ways to access this augmented intelligence, well, there are many ways. It could be in androids like the one you've just seen. There could be chatbots. So basically, automatic intelligences you connect to through your smartphones, through message systems, apps, or more traditional e-learning platforms. This is a project, a result of collaboration between IBM, BBS, and the IT department of the University of Bologna. Before concluding, I believe that from now onwards, you will recover in your mind a question that we often ask ourselves, which is, what is intelligence? I would like to spend the last 30 seconds telling you my idea. I started in 1987 studying these things together with some professors who are here in the audience today. And at the time, we all thought that intelligence was a result, the ability to reprocess, simulate, reproduce a deductive logic chain starting from certain premises by doing logical inferences would lead us to certain conclusions. We believed that for 30 years. Recently, well, the show that you've just seen demonstrates that we're learning something new. We're learning that perhaps intelligence is also understanding what you see. We're learning to discover that intelligence means also understanding what you hear. You've seen Bepper, and also intelligence means understanding what you read. So after 30, 40 years studying these topics, we have started to understand that not only wise men are wise, but also children, because of what they learn from their parents, are wise. Thank you very much.
Viviamo in una nuova era.
We now live in a new era where digital connections pave the way to new roads for interactions between people. We live in a new era where robots, human beings, not only share places, they also cooperate together. And maybe we could start experiencing new emotions. I'm still shivering because of what we have just seen with Pepper. What is the secret? Maybe it's artificial intelligence, as Marco just explained to us. But where is artificial intelligence? Does it live within things? Does it live within Google? Where does it live? Where does it come from? Today, we have the opportunity not just to get a few answers to all these questions, but also to share thoughts, to share provocations, and we will hear all this from a very special person that deals with artificial intelligence on a daily basis. Enrico Cereda will now take the floor. He is Chairman and Managing Director of IBM Italia. Thank you very much, Lucia, and thank you to the Dean of the Bologna Business School. It's an honor for me to be here today with all of you. Lucia's just mentioned Google by way of provocation. When we log on to our computer, we fire up Google, then we think that everything is available to us. And we think we are really extremely powerful because we've got plenty of information available to us. But actually, we only have 7 to 8% of the overall information available on the planet at our disposal. By 2020, we will have 44 billion of zettabytes, an indescribable number of bytes. So if all these pieces of information are not on Google, are not visible to all of us, where do they rest? Where are they? They are in company. They live within companies, small, medium, large company. It's an asset. It's basically an asset that every company has right now. But most of the companies do not manage to make full use of this information because 80% of these pieces of information are the so-called dark data, images, videos, sounds, things we can't interpret, or better, things that normal calculators can't interpret. So what do we need them for? We need machine learning, we need artificial intelligence tools to extract the value from this data. To extract value, that's very easy. It means taking this data, making them available within companies to the whole company. And artificial intelligence tools, machine learning tools currently allow us to interact by using natural language. We've just seen it with Beppe. Beppe spoke English, but we also have Italian. So these are thinking systems. They understand, they can also take decisions, and they interact with the natural language. We at IBM have been working on these systems for many years, about 10 years. And over the last 5 years, we developed this so-called Watson system by IBM, which is now the leading edge at international level. When we talk about artificial intelligence, we all have doubts. Ethical doubts, on the one hand. Over the last month, we've been discussing about the loss of jobs due to machine learning. We from IBM replied in different ways, in 3 different ways. First, you have to specify why you want to use artificial intelligence systems. And here we really need to make a clear-cut difference. We talk about augmented reality, not artificial intelligence. Human beings should not be replaced. Human beings should be supported in their decisions by the systems. Second principle, decision. Decisions must be taken by human beings in the end. Yes, of course, some decisions may be taken by machines as well, but important decisions must be taken by human beings. And then we have the third principle, meaning skills. When I talk about skills, I must refer to a lack of skills that we are experiencing throughout the world, in Europe, and more specifically in Italy. And this brings me back to the first principle, to the first topic, the loss of jobs. We're part and parcel of the fourth industrial revolution. But what is the difference between this revolution and the previous ones? The ones that took place over the last 3 centuries. The very first industrial revolution, well, it took about 100 years to take place. There was the iron and coal and the textile revolution, starting from 1750, and then the second industrial revolution took place 100 years afterwards, which completely revolutionized electricity, the oil sector. And then we have the third revolution, which concerned calculations and computing tools. So the first 2 industrial revolutions took basically 100 years to take place. And what is the difference between this industrial revolution and the previous ones? This is not going to be an industrial revolution that will take 100 years to take place. It will just take 24, 36 months, basically, no more than that. So what is the difference? The difference is that in previous industrial revolutions, we managed to create a training path with universities in order to create new jobs, new job profiles. Nowadays, schools and universities do not have the time, do not have the capacity to come up with new job profiles, new roles, new positions, and it is therefore our task as a company to support the academic world in order to accelerate this process, to create new job profiles and new skills. I'm very proud to announce the creation of a joint lab together with Beppe, and the idea is to focus on all topics related to artificial intelligence and business management related training activities. And I'm very proud of this because University of Bologna is going to be the first university in the world to talk about digital technologies applied to business management. So thank you very much, Bologna Business School, and thank you very much, Dean. Thank you very much, Enrico. You gave us a lot of inspirations, and you also gave us some very small rules to apply. We are really at the forefront of technology. I love machines. It's not just because I'm a mechanical engineer, because machines do contain unique, peculiar technologies which may really change our lives. We are in front of a new scenario. It's not just one way of interacting between people. It's a new way of life. But what technologies, what opportunities, what path can we open up for the future? And then we have another person that is going to give some provocations. Simone Martini, who is in charge of the IT department of the University of Bologna.
I robot sono nelle nostre.
Robots have been in our companies for many years. So we have robots, we have industrial automation. These things have changed production lines, the way we manage our warehouses. Now we have humanoids, robots like the one that we have just seen. So in other words, robots that live in our houses, in the places where we live and where we study. But we would be very wrong if we thought that the main difference between industrial robotics that is used in warehouses and in production lines and these robots were completely different just because some robots are more pervasive and humanoids and others are not. But before I point at the main differences, let me just make 3 general considerations. Small, fast and cost-effective. These are the 3 adjectives that I'm going to focus on. We now have storage devices which are small, which are fast, which are very cost-effective. Think of your USB sticks. Think of large storage systems for industrial applications. Mr. Tereda was just mentioning this earlier on in his presentation. Second aspect, we have sensors with which we can equip devices of daily life, and these daily life devices are then connected to communication network. There's a very smart word for this, the Internet of Things. It means that our washing machines, our TVs, our counters at the supermarket are smart tools that can collect data, transfer this data among themselves, and they make sure that the network gets sensitive to reality. And these tools are small, fast, and intelligent. All these things generate an experience which we call big data. So it's an endless quantity of data available to us, which we can collect with sensors, which we can store at a very low cost. And the third aspect, which really makes a difference, is the computing capacity. Over the last few years, we have been experiencing very small, very fast and intelligent devices that are able to process this data at a speed that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago, and which enable us to carry out tests which we couldn't carry out in the past. These 3 things put together create the main new aspects of robotics today. Robots today now can learn. Beppe hasn't been programmed by Alessandro to answer in that way. He has learned how to reply to questions by memorizing data. Robots can now learn. They learn from things that they hear, they see. So the main difference between the industrial robots that you see in production lines is that programmers in the past perfectly knew how robots would reply to any given situation. But the programmers today do not really know how their robots are going to reply to questions, because a specific reply by a robot, by a chat box, by an intelligent device will depend on the context. It will depend on the data this robot has been exposed to. So we are living in a transition period. In the past, we had this clear-cut opposites, natural and artificial. And now there is no clear-cut border or line between these two elements. So robots are like prosthetists, basically. They enable us to be in places where we can't physically be, and they radically change our perception of reality. They change our way of being human beings. We are different human beings now. So, two more questions and two more suggestions to conclude. First of all, there is a matter of accountability, which we need to take into consideration. If these tools can now take decisions, and if these decisions cannot be programmed upstream, then whose responsibility is the decision of the robots? Is it a programmer's decision? Is it a company's responsibility? Is the responsibility on the scientific community that created that robot? The industry and the science of this industry is now trying to find replies to these questions, but these are questions where the entire society has to be attentive to, where replies have to be provided. And then my second thought is something more pertinent to training activities. These tools are changing our lives, are changing our way we perceive life. We therefore need to train people that have the necessary sense of understanding and that understand the full potential of these tools. We need to train people that speak their language, the language of the digital world. At high school, we learn the language of physics, of genetics, of history, and of the history of ideas, but we don't learn very much about the digital world. We are currently celebrating the 100th anniversary since the death of Don Lorenzo Milani, and the main meaning of his thoughts was that language unites all of us, and we really have to bear this in mind. The digital language will play the same role. Otherwise, we will have people that can't speak the digital language, and they will always oppress all the others. And this is basically what we need to bear in mind as a scientific community. And this is the message that we would like to get across to you as a student of the Bologna Business School, because you will be the future managers of the countries you belong to.
Grazie Simone.
Thank you very much, Simone. Thank you. Thank you once again. Let's go back to the podium. I've just looked behind the curtains and I just wanted to see what Beppe was doing. And he's sleeping just like any child. Why? Because he's recharging his batteries. And he's now ready to interact and offer his experience to our students at the business school. But he's not alone. There are other Beppers. So he's here for the Bologna Business School, but there are other Beppers throughout the world, in hospitals, in schools, in our homes, not just in companies to produce or to mold shades of metals. So there are Beppers that look like us, others that look like robots. Then this has an incredible social impact. This completely changes our way of experiencing daily life. This also changes our responsibility. So today we have a very special person that can give us his take on this. This is a person that doesn't really need to be introduced. He is here with in his capacity as president of the supervisory board of the BBS, Mr. Romano Prodi.
Ringrazio della presentazione.
Thank you for the presentation. And I'm here not to make a long speech. Only the IT professor could make a long speech and talk from the pulpit of a church. He sounded like a 17th century Dominican friar. I'll just say a few things, and I would like to wish something to the students who are celebrating today. So I would like to say the following things. We've heard that we're faced with an important industrial revolution. We have a lot of data. Within 10 years, 50% of jobs will change. We've seen Beppe. I can't challenge him. Beppe already understands more than I do. So this is already lost in terms of a competition with him. I've lost already. But I would like to make some remarks about your professional life and how to manage this revolution, because it is not a revolution just of the labor market, but of the entire society. So, of course, labor market is concerned because not only 50% of jobs will change, but because this revolution is a force that will engender a further break in our society if it is not led profoundly by a continuous interaction among public authorities, enterprises, schools, and universities. This is very clear. We are becoming part of a world in which progress goes on very fast, the reduction of jobs as fast, and clearly there's an elite who will lead this world, and you will probably be part of this elite. So you'll be not affected in terms of being marginalized by this revolution. So I'm asking you, you have a great responsibility. You have to understand what this great transformation will entail. Because the intermediate jobs will be thrown away, will disappear. We have a category who's able to talk to Beppe. The others are not able to talk to Beppe. So talking to Beppe, interacting with Beppe, will be even more important for the elite than being able to speak English. So this revolution is something that will transform our society. Therefore, we have a great need of the labor market to become more democratic. The society is changing, and an effort is needed to try and fight against this new trend that will get rid of secretaries, bank tellers, unskilled workers, financial operators, and all this to bring a rupture, a break in society. Let's not think that by slowing down this process will make a favor to new generation. We have to speed up, we have to develop it, and we have to work so that society will become more complex, opening the door to the new professions that will help rebalancing society. And so welfare, healthcare, school, education, putting everyone at the same level, at least in terms of starting conditions. That the director of the IT department ended his speech mentioning Don Milani, the symbol, the opposite symbol, so to say, of the robot revolution, but of a real revolution. So a real intellectual revolution is very significant of the awareness that we have to develop. So you, students, you'll be obliged, if your profession will be successful, you'll be obliged to be part of this category that in a way will lead the world. So you will need to constantly come to terms with the problems of the society around you. You're lucky because this business school was not created in an isolated way. The only case in Italy, it was created around a very important university. We have technologies, we have IT, we just heard about it, but we also have human sciences, and we need a profound knowledge and political awareness of the entire society to be able to keep the balance that we need. I wish you, students, to be the makers of your own success, your own personal success. This is why you enroll at these elite schools like Bologna Business School. But I hope that you'll have the chance of transferring it to the advantage of the entire society, and especially of the Emilia-Romagna community. Great efforts were made to improve our industry, to cooperate between public institutions, universities, and all the innovation. New engineering schools for the automotive sector. And then opening up of new projects. Well, we need this. And we need a very integrated society. And Bologna Business School students and all of you, what you have the task of being the pivot of this integration, because you've studied to link up innovation of society to the innovation of technology. So to be able to allow Beppe to talk to human beings in a free and natural way. Thank you.